Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization and the Global Environmental Facility, I warmly welcome you to this event, Advancing Clean Tech Innovation and Entrepreneurship for Climate Action, and the launch of the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. And warm welcome to all the participants joining us online to join us in this launch event. Our topic is promoting entrepreneurship, innovation for climate action. We know that we cannot make it to the to fulfill the Paris Agreement without innovation. And innovation is not restricted to one area, one geography. It's a global undertaking. And most importantly, it's a global undertaking. It's an undertaking in an African continent, in an African context. And there's no other more appropriate place to hold this launch event than in the Moroccan pavilion, because Morocco has taken a leading role in the energy transition and have set the benchmark very high for many countries to drive innovation, investments, and technology deployment for climate action. With this note, it gives me great honor and pleasure to invite Her Excellency Leila bin Ali, Minister of Energy Transition, Sustainable Development at the Kingdom of Morocco, to offer us the welcoming remarks. Your Excellency.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'll do it from here for safety reasons. And I'll stop there. Welcome to the Moroccan pavilion. We're having a number of activities, more than 40 activities and side events in our pavilion, going from mobilizing finance that we did yesterday. Today we're gonna be meeting the great youth of Africa. I'm gonna be meeting our young people, the next generations. And in the next few days, we have a rich program going to from the vulnerability of our ecosystems in Africa to satellite imagery, talking about technology for in the service of climate action. So I would really welcome you to come back and harass my team here in the Moroccan pavilion over the next couple of weeks. But let's talk about the second phase of the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. What an exciting journey so far. We are very pleased to continue our collaboration with Jeff, with UNIDO, and all our partners through this second phase of the GCIP program. Of course, it aims to contribute to climate action. Of course, we want to promote new innovative solutions. We all agree that we need all the innovation possible that humankind and the human brain can bring for climate action to foster low carbon development. But that's why I'm really proud of the achievements of the first phase, because remember, first it was launched at COP27 in Marrakesh, but that's not the only reason why I'm proud. I'm proud also because we've accelerated together more than 120 green startups over the last 4 years in this program. So we've seen action. Is it what our Egyptian friends are saying for this COP? We've seen action in this program. Here again, an example of action. This program has revealed, the great potential of young entrepreneurs, and it really enabled the emergence of a local innovation ecosystem that contributes to Africa's climate action, but of course to Morocco climate action as well. And I'm not going to repeat also the fact that Africa as a continent is the continent that has been heavily impacted, and my country also as well, with the drought, the historic drought that we faced, and other issues heavily affected by climate change, even if our historic contribution is very limited. You've already heard that many, many times over this COP. We still, of course, remain committed as the Kingdom of Morocco, actually more than before. If you remember, in our energy strategy of 2009, launched by His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, we had a target. One of the targets that we had was to reach 42% of the installed capacity based purely on renewables. His Majesty has challenged us even more now. He wants us to go beyond the 52% targets of installed capacity of pure renewables. He wants all desalination plants, talking about water scarcity, to be fired by renewable, pure 100% renewable energy. And of course, this leads us to a new way to work, a new way to invest, especially in the stability of our grid, new ways to involve our entrepreneurs. And they're not necessarily always young, our entrepreneurs, of course. So we are working hard on revising our, we've already revised our commitments in our NDC. And Morocco was among the first countries to revise its NDC and in its commitment to a low carbon development strategy. And the other new thing over the last couple of years is our new development model. Our new development model in Morocco has been done in a consultative manner using collective intelligence. And the objective function is very simple. We need to get beyond the middle income trap as a developing country. And in order to do so, we don't only need reforms, we don't only need programs like the GCIP, we need a total change of mindset as policymakers, as the way we work with the populations, as the way we work with our civil society and ecosystems. So that's why when I say that innovation and sustainable partnerships, sustainable green and also sustainable in time, partnerships are really, really crucial to Morocco, and it's not a buzzword. We need it for the survival of our energy, environmental, and climate vision. We have several initiatives that have been taken to develop innovation and support and expand R&D structures. For those who have not visited our Ben Guerir, which is our innovation park, not too far from Marrakesh, for those of you who have been to Marrakesh for other reasons than innovation, which is tourism. But next time you go and visit Marrakesh, I strongly urge you to visit Ben Guerir. You have a number of platforms there being set up. You have the Green Energy Park, a platform for testing, research, and training. Training not only Moroccans, but also our friends and brother countries in Africa in renewable energy. We have the Green and Smart Building Park, the GSBB. It's an innovative platform dedicated to research and development in the field of green buildings and sustainable buildings and smart grids. Again, because we thought that we cannot do it by using the traditional way of transporting and distributing electricity. And also we are developing other platforms, of course, related to green hydrogen, biomass, the energy agriculture nexus, desalination and water treatments, etc., etc. So I really invite you to embark with us in our new vision to 2030 for research and development for green technologies. And of course, to accompany this transformation, I will not insist enough. It's really important to improve the employability and the inclusion of our young people through really targeted and training 21st century style, adapted to these new needs of our market and creating the right incentives. So to conclude, I really like to thank warmly Jeff and UNIDO for their invaluable support, and I wish this second phase to be even more fruitful, of course, than the first phase. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. And also from our side, congratulations on the new initiatives and on setting a new development model through collective intelligence, as you Excellency highlighted. So we look forward to continue the partnership with Morocco to advance clean tech innovation, not only for Morocco, but for the regional and the global markets. I think that's where the opportunities lie and for creating jobs. Another champion country joining us today to inaugurate the Global Clean Tech program is Nigeria. Joining us, His Excellency Henry Eko, the Federal Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. Nigeria just released its energy transition plan and strategy, a very, very ambitious one for the African continent. And it's going to need a lot of innovation, a lot of entrepreneurship, a lot of business. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. A very good morning to all of you. I am pleased to be here today to share one or two things we are doing. My name is Chief Henry Ikechukwu Iko. I am the Minister for State, Science, Technology, and Innovation in Nigeria. And we are pleased to be here today to identify with the world and Africa in general. The Managing Director, my colleague, the Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning, all of you. I feel highly delighted to be in your midst this morning. As you are all aware, the global increase in demand for energy to power for industrialization, critical infrastructure, home and businesses, particularly in the emerging economy, has been necessitated an urgent need for innovation that will get the world closer to becoming more energy efficient and sustainable. The GEF fund UNIDO globally Cleantech Innovation Program is built around adopting innovative approach to enable cleantech ecosystem by harmonizing contribution of critical actors while fostering an attractive business environment to set up small and medium-scale industry and innovator. As Nigeria's statutory agent for all science, technology, and innovation matters, the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation is working with the private sector represented by this project. By Co-Creation Hub, a leading innovation hub in Africa, and UNIDO, and the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria, to scale up transformative clean tech situation in Nigeria. The GCPI is being launched today, will therefore provide the requisite technology innovation platform, especially tailored for targeted to clean energy technologies startup and small and medium scale industry. I wish to sincerely thank UNIDO for this giant effort and all the participating countries in their commitment to make this event a reality. As we do this, the world will be a global village. Industrialization is the key to development. the middle class will be created in Africa, whereby reducing unemployment and make the world a better place for all. As we deliberate today, God will see us through. The world will be a greater place. Africa will be great again. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. And we do look forward to seeing more and more. Well, Nigeria is already offering a good example of entrepreneurship ecosystems across different sectors and different technologies. Even in the entertainment and in the ICT, we are also looking forward that this will come to the Cleantech innovation. A third guest joining us, and also a country that is also embarking on ambitious plans to connect energy access, industrialization, and low carbon development. Senegal, His Excellency Alioune Ndoye, Minister of Environment, Sustainable Development, and Ecological Transition, honored us with his presence today and to give us a welcome remark. The floor is yours, Your Excellency.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this side events and your remarks. I beg your pardon if there is no translation, but allow me to speak in French. Messieurs les ministres, Madame, chers collègues, thank you. Thank you. C'est avec un grand intérêt que le gouvernement du Sénégal a adhéré au programme Cleantech, en endossant la composante nationale et en mobilisant une partie de son allocation STAR du Fonds pour l'environnement mondial pour son financement. Je voudrais donc saisir cette occasion pour remercier l'UNIDO pour son leadership et son assistance technique qui a permis de formuler ce projet dans les délais impartis et de lancer la phase d'exécution. Comme vous le savez, le relèvement de l'ambition dans le domaine climatique est devenu une urgence si nous voulons atteindre l'objectif de l'accord de Paris et maintenir le réchauffement climatique à 1,5 degré. Pour ce faire, nos pays ont l'obligation d'explorer toutes les possibilités qu'offre la technologie pour réduire nos émissions de gaz à effet de serre. C'est tout le sens de la prise en compte de l'entrepreneuriat vert dans la contribution déterminée au niveau national du Sénégal, avec comme objectif le soutien aux initiatives à fort potentiel de réduction des émissions de gaz à effet de serre. Le projet Cleantech du Sénégal s'inscrit dans cette dynamique et se veut moyen pour mettre l'innovation technologique au service de la lutte contre le réchauffement climatique tout en offrant des opportunités d'affaires et d'emploi. Le projet a 3 composantes qui, faudrait-il le souligner, constituent une réponse appropriée aux besoins actuels du pays, tout en s'inscrivant dans les recommandations issues de l'évaluation indépendante du programme global sur l'innovation et les technologies propres réalisé par le Fonds pour l'environnement mondial, ainsi que les retours d'expérience des 9 projets nationaux précédents mis en œuvre entre 2013 et 2019. Le projet Cleantech du Sénégal, dont mon département, à travers la direction de l'environnement et des établissements classés, assure la mise en œuvre, vise à faire progresser l'innovation et l'entrepreneuriat dans les technologies propres pour soutenir l'action climatique. Il permettra, premièrement, de transformer les solutions technologies propres et innovantes en entreprises viables. À cet effet, l'accent sera mis sur la formation à l'entrepreneuriat, et les compétences dans le développement des affaires en soutien aux porteurs de projets et aux petites et moyennes entreprises, ayant démontré des capacités réelles de développement. Un mécanisme financier sera mis en place pour soutenir ces porteurs de projets et PME pour améliorer notamment l'accès à l'énergie dans les communautés qui ont le plus besoin. Deuxièmement, il permettra ensuite de mettre en œuvre des activités pour maximiser l'impact du projet par le renforcement de l'écosystème national des technologies propres et en identifiant les synergies à travers le partage de connaissances et la création de partenariats dynamiques. L'élaboration de politiques et réglementations visant à promouvoir l'innovation dans le domaine des technologies propres sera traitée comme une priorité. Et enfin, il permettra d'assurer la coordination et la cohérence du programme global sur les technologies propres afin de créer des synergies entre le projet du Sénégal et les projets exécutés dans les autres pays partenaires. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, à la lumière de ce qui précède, vous conviendrez avec moi que ce projet, au-delà de son impact climatique, est un levier important pour la création d'emplois verts pour les jeunes entrepreneurs. C'est pourquoi je voudrais profiter de l'occasion, comme offre cette cérémonie, pour réitérer l'engagement de notre département, le ministère de l'Environnement, du Développement durable et de la Transition écologique, à ne ménager aucun effort pour faire de ce projet une réussite totale et compte dans cette perspective sur le soutien des partenaires du programme et en premier lieu sur l'UNIDO avec qui mon département entretient depuis plusieurs décennies des relations de partenariat fructueux. Je tiens à vous remercier pour cette activité et je vous remercie de votre aimable attention. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, and I look forward that we launch the program also in Senegal very soon. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the genesis of the Global Cleantech program is a partnership that was started by the Global Environmental Facility with many other partners and UNIDO. And without the GEF, this would have not been the largest global acceleration program for entrepreneurs from developing and emerging market. So give me a pleasure and honor to welcome Philippe to put us context about the GCIP and the GEF. Philippe, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Tarek. Thank you very much, Tarek, and Your Excellencies, our host, Morocco. Thank you very much for the kind invitation, colleagues, friends. On behalf of the GEF CEO, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, let me thank everybody for the opportunity to share with you a few considerations about the GCIP and our collaboration with countries and with UNIDO. Technology innovation sits at the very heart of what we do at the GEF. Since inception, the GEF has supported action to promote investment and enabling environments for technology breakthrough. And we are very much committed to continue to do so in the years to come. The GEF 8 replenishment just completed in June with a record amount of 5.3 billion. And donors have really subscribed to the strong innovation-driven sort of nature of the program in direction of the focal area. So we can see there is a strong commitment from the entire GEF partnership to continue to promote innovation in developing countries. Just before COP, we see quite a number of reports that come out and continue to remind us about the urgency of climate action and the need to shift our production consumption systems in the urban setting, in the agriculture and food production setting, in the energy setting. And this type of shifts cannot be achieved with incremental increases, but really need system transformations and systems change. Some numbers, just in the power sector, the pace of penetration of renewable energy, if we are to keep up with the targets of the Paris Agreement will need to accelerate 5 times between now and 2050. In the built environment, the same, 5 times if we are to achieve the decarbonization of our cities. In transport, even though we had quite a lot of progress recently, but the rate of adoption of EVs is also expected to increase 5-fold by 2030. Agriculture and food production follow the same narrative. We really need to shift our production consumption model if we are to keep up with population growth and the need to decarbonize the food system. If we are really serious to keep 1.5 degree alive, the only chance we have to shift is to embrace a new growth story for the 21st century. And the good news is this is not just needed, but is also possible. And young generations are increasingly demanding that we shift from ownership models to delivery of a service model, including on mobility, on hospitality, and on the energy sectors. And I think the GCIP focus on SMEs is really of crucial importance. SMEs represent often the backbone of economic systems in many developing countries. And as such, they have great potential to promote and identify local and context-specific technology solutions. So far from being just the launch of GCIP, today's gathering is a celebration of a decade-long collaboration between the GEF, UNIDO, and the many countries that have embraced the program and have sort of embarked on a path to promote enabling environments and to promote incubation, acceleration of a new generation of entrepreneurs that can really contribute substantially to the type of transformation we need to align with the objectives of the Paris Agreement. The first project of the GCIP family was actually greening the COP, a COP27 in another African countries more than a decade ago in South Africa. So I think it's very fitting that we are back celebrating again a new beginning for the program and for our collaboration in another African COP in Egypt. So many successful examples came out. We are hosted today by Morocco. We had 2 rounds of GCIP support. Just to mention one key innovation that came out from the 2018 context, the Farasha systems. This was a company that was the winner of the 2018 GCIP project and provides solutions to identify early faults in renewable energy installation, particularly solar PV, which have a potential to save energy, to save money, and then contribute obviously to increase the economic profile of the installation while contributing to climate change. So clearly, good example of how you can hit cost savings and generate emission reductions with one of the alumni of GCIP. So as the GEF7 cohort of GCIP projects move from design to implementation, we will be following very closely the progress and looking very much forward to learn what new example we can then use in the GEF8 cohort to inform a new generation of projects. So I do believe this is a flagship program for the GEF, and very much look forward to continue to work with all of you to make it a success in the next GEF cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Filippo, and thanks Global Environmental Facility for showing leadership on the innovation entrepreneurship angle. We were to be joined by Director General Gerd Muller from the UNIDO, but an emergency prevented him. He kindly asked me to just read his call to action, not the entire statement that he wanted, conscious of the time, but his call to action is, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, challenging times are also times of greatest opportunity. Today, we can put clean tech at the forefront of climate action and sustainable development. To make this happen, we need to accelerate the route to markets for game-changing clean tech solutions. So I am calling upon members of the public and the private sector. I invite you to partner with the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. Together, let us design to bring clean tech solutions to market. As Director General of UNIDO, I thank our partners, including the Global Environmental Facility, for the continued commitment and support. GCIP work is transformational. I look forward to the experiences and insight that you will be sharing with us. Statement from Jared Muller, Director General of UNIDO. With this note, I thank you all. We conclude the opening segment, and we're going to transition to listen from the entrepreneur in the second segment. So we take a 5-minute break for a photo shoot with the Excellencies, the ministers and the partners, and our executive partners to join us, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Flying into, with the Pachoris, flying into Devon and saying, but for someone who is in Stanga, who is in a village immediately outside Devon, what does climate change mean? And how can we make sure that these SMEs see climate change as an opportunity? So we're quite excited that 10 years later, 11 years later, this program is expanded to many more countries. The delivery model of the Global Clean Technology Innovation Program is such that we work with partners. We work with TIA in South Africa. We work with partners in different countries. So I would want to give a brief moment to our partners who have joined us today, the partners from Kazakhstan and partners from Turkey, to give us a brief statement about the program, and then we move into the last part of the conversation. Sir, please. I'm honored to invite Mr. Hassan Madal from, who is the president of TÜBİTAK, which is a Scientific Technological Research Institute of Turkey. And then Mr. Osas Agabekov. Thank you, sir. Turkey has been one of the second countries to be involved in the Cleantech program, and Kazakhstan is just joining now. So I'd want to invite the president of Turkey to give us, his perspective on the Cleantech program in Turkey, given the fact that we are going now into the second round of Global Clean Technology Innovation Program. Say.
Okay, so dear Excellencies, so the UNIDO team and ladies and gentlemen. So as the president of the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, shortly TÜBİTAK, I am very pleased today to participate in the COP27 for the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program launch event. Before starting to my speech, so I would like to congratulate the UNIDO and also the GIF, Global Protect Partners, the representatives of the participating countries of the GCIP for their valuable work in the collective endeavor to achieve the sustainable development goals focusing on the clean tech ecosystem. Climate crisis and environmental degradation are some of the world's most critical issues for today. The sixth assessment report of the IPCC clearly emphasizes the urgency of reducing the greenhouse gas emissions by 43% by the year of the 2030 globally for any chance of limiting the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The intensity and the frequency of the impacts of the climate change are multiple times higher than the other scenarios, risking our planet. Tackling these challenges requires global efforts and leadership for sustainable development. We acknowledge the vital role of technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship in the direction and the speed of the collective efforts towards achieving the net zero and nature positive societies. Turkey is the significant global player, has long supported the global environmental endeavors. TÜBİTAK was one of the earliest institutions that announced the roadmap for zero emission target for the year 2053, which was determined to fulfill our country's obligations arising from the Paris Climate Agreement. We have launched dedicated calls for green growth. Particularly, our entrepreneurship program is called BIGG, that has already supported more than 2,000 entrepreneurs to date and provide incentives toward our programs, including innovative programs for high technology platforms, SMEs, and the patent licensing. The government's motivation and high-level ownership for the green transformation of the economy will pave the way of the successful implementation of our research agenda. Prioritize R&D innovation topics within the scope of the Green Deal Agreement compliance was published in the beginning of the year 2021 in Turkey. The guidance document for prioritized topics focused on 5 themes, namely climate change, environment and biodiversity, clean and circular economy, clean, accessible and secure energy supply, green, sustainable agriculture, sustainable smart transportation. Projects focusing on these topics are being prioritized in TÜBİTAK's R&D and innovation supports and co-creation models for both knowledge creation and development of the human resources are being mobilized by TÜBİTAK. Cleantech provides opportunities for entrepreneurs to create innovative solutions to climate change, promote sustainable economic growth, create jobs in an integral part of the transition to the low carbon economy. Cleantech innovation and entrepreneurship can help achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement on climate change. TÜBİTAK has been running the Global Cleantech Entrepreneurship Program under the auspices of the Ministry of Industry and Technology and cooperation with the UNIDO since 2014. The first phase of the Global Cleantech Innovation Program takes place between the year 2014 and 2018 and is mainly covered the acceleration activities of cleantech solutions. Based on the positive contributions of the GCIP Phase 1 on the cleantech technologies and entrepreneurship, the capacity and the knowledge it has been created, and also the expectations towards the program continuation, the second phase of the program has been designed in collaboration with UNIDO again in order to increase the impact of the program. The second phase will also cover the technology validation and also the investment readiness dimensions of the cleantech entrepreneurs to compete the global market in addition to accelerator activities. We are glad to participate in the most extensive cleantech accelerator program, GCIP, under the auspices of the Ministry of Industry and Technology and with the contributions from the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources, Ministry of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change, and Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, universities, and several private organizations, stakeholders, and TÜBİTAK will be the national project executing entity for GCIP Turkey. For adopting co-creation and co-achieving approach with the strength derived from the intensified international collaboration and with our expertise as the responsible government body for supporting R&D and innovation projects relating to the green transformation of the industry. We will work on creating favorable conditions to transform early-stage innovative clean solutions into scalable enterprises. We will also work for maximizing the impact of the GCIP by strengthening the national cleantech ecosystem of GCIP partner countries, identifying synergies across the national ecosystems, and connecting ecosystems for knowledge exchange and partnership building. Empowerment of the women and also the youth will be our inseparable priority while aiming for the installation and expansion of the GCIP in the Turkish SMEs. I believe the COP conference, COP27 conference in Egypt this year, organized by the UNFCCC, provides a significant opportunity to renew our commitment and responsibility for sustainable environment by discussing and addressing the potential for further progress in clean tech innovation and also the entrepreneurship. I hope that this conference will also a greater cooperation for sustainable industrial, economical, and social development. So thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan Mandal, who is president of TÜBİTAK in Turkey. We are quite appreciative of the collaboration that we have had with you on the Cleantech program. And we look forward to expanding and scaling up this program. We have seen a lot of entrepreneurs, innovators coming from tech here, going global. We want to build on this to ensure that it is more successful and more impactful. I now give the floor to Mr. Ozas Agabev, who is the CEO of Ictech from Kazakhstan. Briefly, sir, we want to hear about your plans for the Cleantech program which is coming to Kazakhstan. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, the Ministry of Energy Transition and Sustainable Development of the Morocco, for organizing this event. It's my pleasure to represent the International Green Technologies and Investment Project Center under the Ministry of Ecology, Geology and Natural Resources of Republic of the Kazakhstan. The center's mission is to accelerate the promotion of green technologies and best practices, business development and investment. I would like to congratulate all those present here today at the significant event dedicated to the launch of the new GCIP cycle, which covers 16 countries. For Kazakhstan, as the first Central Asian country to join to GCIP, this is a unique opportunity to build an effective innovation ecosystem for the development of clean technologies and their adaptation to climate change. Kazakhstan is the 9th largest country in the world with a large number of reserves of natural resources, such as oil, gas, uranium, and many others. Despite the abundance of the fossil fuel, Kazakhstan sets ambitious goals to combat climate change, which are, among others, to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060, as well as to act as a regional climate hub in Central Asia for sustainable development. These objectives are quite relevant given that the countries of the region are facing common challenges associated with the increase at temperature exceeding the global average, the environmental disaster of the Aral Sea, and transboundary water management. To overcome these and other environmental problems, Kazakhstan and Central Asian countries need technological transformation and rapid exchange of efficient and cost-effective green technologies that would maintain balance and safety and restore the environment. These issues can only be solved together by combining the efforts of all partners to respond to the environmental challenges and expand the window of opportunity for the development of innovation and introduction of green technologies. It should be noted that Kazakhstan has a fairly solid innovation potential, particularly more than 3,000 patents, green patents, of which more than 550 have international potential. At the same time, the transfer of the green technologies at the business level, and especially at the level of small and medium-sized enterprises, remains weak in the country's innovation system. The level of innovation activity of enterprises in Kazakhstan is only 10%, where the share of environmental innovation is rather small. The expenditures of enterprises of environmental innovation account for only 1.6% of all expenditures of enterprises for innovation. There is also a low share of green jobs accounting for 1.7% of the total number of jobs of the country. As elsewhere in the world, small and medium-sized enterprises in Kazakhstan can become the main generator of new ideas and innovations and play a decisive role in achieving carbon neutrality. However, the weak development of innovation and entrepreneurship in the field of green technologies is the result of a range of barriers, including insufficient legislative incentives, insufficient funding, limited domestic market for low-carbon technologies, low maturity of technologies, lack of technological competence. As a result, we are very much looking forward to the launch of the GCIP Kazakhstan with the support of the GEF and UNIDO. Our partnership will address market and policy gaps that hinder the emergence and deployment of innovation in the long term. We are confident that the program will make a great contribution to achieving country goals and can become a good basis for creating the green tech climate hub of Central Asia with economic incentives for the development of technological entrepreneurship. At present, Kazakhstan has every opportunity to become a leader in organizing a regional Central Asian platform for green technologies. Considering the geographical position of Kazakhstan in Central Asia region and the intention to develop financial and institutional opportunities for green technologies, Kazakhstan is fertile ground for attractive, innovative activity to support green business and all interested parties. In conclusion, I would like to note that the By the analogy with successful countries, Kazakhstan will strive to expand the window of opportunity and make a leap to solve the problem of greening the economy through the development of innovation and support for entrepreneurship in the field of the green technologies. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate the partnership that we have with Kazakhstan, and we look forward to build on your strong vision and your strong, intention to promote more innovation and entrepreneurship in ensuring that the GC program is going to be successful. I invite you to take your seat. Now we go to the entrepreneurs. Some of us will say, wow, how many entrepreneurs has GCIP supported? We've supported over 1,200 startups that a lot of them have commercialized. I want to take this opportunity to invite Olasimbo, Sandiswa, Chris, and Yas. Where are you and how much have you mobilized in your innovation story? I would like to start with Sandiswa, please.
Good morning. My name is Sandiswa Kai. I'm the innovator and manufacturing managing director of AET Africa. We are a company that's based in rural Eastern Cape in South Africa. We are innovators and manufacturers of energy efficiency products focusing on retrofit for water heating. We started our journey in 2015 in terms of our innovation, and we worked through GCIP, and we started commercializing our product in 2018. We've managed to mobilize almost $500,000 US to date in commercializing our product. But what's been our challenge in terms of the journey, as much as we have commercialized, is the route to market in terms of scaling up and creating the impact that we're looking for. At this stage, our factory employs about 25 full-time staff, and we also have part-time staff depending on the orders that we get. Platforms like this are really important in terms of connecting entrepreneurs with the market. And for us, we feel like the next step in terms of our journey is really getting the distribution partnerships in terms of scaling up and getting funding to connect even us as entrepreneurs in terms of creating more impact. Otherwise, in terms of the market and the products, they are out there, but we just need the route to market.
Thank you, Sandiswa. Let me go to Tech here. We have met several times, and I met you in Bonn. Is it in Bonn or in Katowice? Yeah, Katowice. Yeah. May you tell us about your journey? Where are you with your innovation? Tell us about your innovation in 2 minutes.
Well, we have developed a carbon trading platform for renewable energy project investors. We try to help carbon credit buyers to compare the projects according to their sustainability criteria in terms of human employment, biodiversity, and emissions they reduce. GCIP helped me a lot. By means of GCIP, I applied for patent. Now my innovation is patented. Also, it helped me to get some funding from European Commission in scope of Horizon SME instrument as well. But by the way, I would like to mention about Debarsi. Rest in peace. He was great guy, coach. He was our coach during the GCIP program. Yeah, I think we should mention about him as well.
Thank you so much. Energy access, especially in developing and emerging economies, is about the last mile. The last mile. We need innovators, entrepreneurs who can innovate around how do we make sure that the last village has access to energy. On that, let me invite Olasimbo from Nigeria to tell us about her innovation and how she's ensuring that all the villages in Nigeria have access to energy. Olasimbo.
Thank you so much. My name is Olasimbo Shojiri, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer now for Solar Sister. And I'm managing operations across Nigeria, Tanzania, and Kenya. And we do the same thing. We're working at the intersection of gender equity, climate action, and energy access. Our role is to build a network of women entrepreneurs, distributing a range of clean energy products at the very last mile. So the gap between where all the innovators and manufacturers stop is where the Solar Sisters take to that very last village to make sure that they have access to energy and are benefiting from the clean energy transition, making it just and making them rid of energy poverty. You asked for scale. So we are 3 countries.
Hello?
Okay, we're in 3 countries. We have about 170 employees. We have a network of close to 7,000 entrepreneurs in those communities, and we've so far reached over 3 million beneficiaries.
Excellent, excellent. The 3 million beneficiaries are part of the 700 or 800 million people in Africa who don't have access to electricity. So it is a fact that our innovators and entrepreneurs are creating jobs. They are ensuring access to energy, and they are also creating employment in their communities. Let me go to Christophe from Inseko. Say, welcome, and tell us about your innovation and where are you?
Thank you very much. It's really good to be here. So Inseko is a South African-based company based out of Cape Town. And faced with the enormous challenges that we faced with landfill and waste and CO2 emissions, we looked at this problem and realized that we could make a difference. And so we are in the business of growing insects, creepy crawlies, things that make everyone scream and squirm. And by using the waste that goes into landfill, we breed black soldier flies. And these grubs that are grown get used as a novel form of protein. And again, we are faced with huge challenges in this world. The lack of food for animals. And in many ways, the contribution to feed into livestock can account for 70% of the product, or the cost of the product. And so we grow the flies, we breed the grubs, and we make protein, highly nutritious protein that gets used mainly in aquaculture and in poultry. And we've traveled an incredible journey with the help of TIA and GCIP, to the point now that we are producing over 100 tons of novel protein a month and ready to scale that up. We believe that this project can grow. We are looking to focus on development into Africa in the next 5 years. If we can launch 25 of these incubators, we can get up to over 200,000 tons of novel protein that could be put into agriculture. And by this way, we create a circular economy where we are reducing the amount of waste going into landfill. We're creating a protein, which in turn is going to feed livestock and in turn going to feed the population of this world. I think we all heard yesterday, I think it was our minister who was mentioning that at the start of COP, baby number 8 billion was born. We're going to have a real challenge in feeding the world going forward. We believe that by farming insects, we can make a really big difference to the world. We employ about 50 people at the moment, but we're ready for the next hurdle. And that's going to mean additional funding. And so again, working with our partners at TIA and meeting people at this organized chaos of COP, we can make that difference. So really excited to be here.
Thank you, Chris. Always a pleasure, talking to you. Today is a day of finance. You guys have been working on this journey to mobilize finance. Can we talk about finance? What has been your experience in mobilizing finance, and what would you recommend to the development partners, to your national governments, to ensure that we have more and more of entrepreneurs that have benefited from incubators accessing more finance to go to scale?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm talking about my country. I'm Turkey. I'm from Turkey. Yeah, actually, we have good funding opportunities in Turkey as well, and we have lots of innovation projects. But in terms of scaling up, I think we should meet supplier side and demanding side, we should make some organization on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Ola?
Okay, Olasimo. Okay, so for us too, I mean, for women entrepreneurs, we know that funding is a major challenge. Access to finance is always coming up as one of the, the first one of two challenges that women entrepreneurs face. Lots of research has also corroborated this. I was reading one yesterday on 2% of all investments that go to women entrepreneurs in the US are for women-owned businesses. And it's not too different in Africa as well. And so for us, it's about really being more innovative and creative. My recommendation around financing available for women entrepreneurs at the last mile, especially because we have seen a lot of the things that are on the ground now, the microfinance and the commercial funding available is just too expensive. The women, it's kind of recycling the poverty, as any little money they make is going back into paying interest rates. So we really need to look into creative and bottoms up approaches that work for the women or work even for just entrepreneurs at the last mile. So that is it. Of course, it's blended finance, is developmental finance, as well as sustainable funds that ensure that these women can scale their businesses because they are for profit. And we know that when a woman has income, the benefits of that go beyond just herself. It's her family, it's her community. So it's really essential that we channel funds to this cause.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ola. Sandiswa, finance. We need 1,000 or 1 million of Sandiswas, of Olas, of Chris, of yourselves. Finance, how do you, what is how has been your experience? What do you recommend to development partners, to governments, so that they can help you to mobilize finance to scale up your innovation?
As a grassroots innovator, someone who comes from the rural setup, I believe as much as there is funding out there, but there is not enough funding that's focusing on innovation, that's focusing on small scale entrepreneurs that want to pivot into the market, because as much as there is funding out there, but the model of financing that's available, especially in South Africa, I feel like it's not inclusive enough for people who don't have a development finance background, who don't have enough runway in terms of growing. Because I always feel like for me, I'm privileged because I come from economic development background, so I knew how to fill in the funding applications. That for me, that's where the gap starts. And my colleague, as she alluded, there's not also enough funding for women. So if government and private sector can collaborate in terms of becoming the ecosystem players, in terms of creating enabling environment, because it's well and good to say there is money, but one other side of the puzzle is that they want offtake agreements, and for you to have offtake agreements to commercialize or do anything, you need the private sector to give you that offtake, to be a partner, and then to work as a strategic partners in terms of going forward. So this cannot be tackled by just applying for grant funding, but have the corporate partners in terms of giving you that access to market, which also assist in terms of scaling up and reducing the risk in terms of the funding that you've received.
Excellent, excellent. So it's about partnership with between the multilaterals, the government, and the private sector, creating financing mechanisms that are accessible and available for entrepreneurs to go to scale. Chris, I had the privilege of meeting your CEO and reading that last year or this year, you mobilized $5.3 million US, and you are listed as one of the top 50 companies to watch at the global level, because you are going to scale soon. That's what he said. Finance, what would you recommend so that we have a lot of in circles accessing finance and going to scale?
Yeah, thank you. And I think that, we all work in a very disruptive environment. And sometimes for traditional financing mechanisms, that's not a good thing. A lot of them are very risk adverse. And I think it is, that acceptance that being disruptive does shake the feathers.
Okay.
We also realize that in this world of disruption, and we were talking about it yesterday, we need to find a beautiful way of disrupting. And by beautiful meaning is that whatever you're doing must have the acceptance of your customer. And who is that customer? And is it what your customer wants? And in return, I think, we've started the race. We've had, as I mentioned, incredible support from TIA and UNIDO and other organizations, but we're ready to pass that baton on. I spoke about how we need to upscale. And with that, we require more funding, but we need to find those institutions that are less risk adverse to run that journey with us. And I guess in return, we need to also be able to put our money where our mouth is. And I think from the discussions we've had, one of the real challenges is engaging with the corporate environment, that whatever we're doing is going to give us that return on investment. And so we are looking for funding. We're looking for those funders that are less risk adverse. But we've started the challenge. We've had the support. It's like a relay race. We've run the second leg. We're ready to hand over that baton. The finish line, well, we're never going to get to that finish line, but we need to get to that point. And so hopefully this is an environment where we can engage with those organizations that are prepared to give us that money for the next level.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. I want to pick up two statements from yourself. Organize chaos. And the fact that this is the place where you can meet everybody and anybody who's going to help you to mobilize finance. We so very much value your experience and know-how on how you have transformed your innovations into businesses and scale them up. It's about partnership. It's about being disruptive and being beautiful in being disruptive. Thank you so much. I would like to appreciate all, the time you've taken to be with us. I wish you mingle in the COP, meet as many other entrepreneurs, as many other financiers. And please, let's keep in touch with the GC program. And I wish you all the best in your innovation journey. The last section is on financing. So I would want to invite Kristen Dunlop from the Climate Kick and Peter Story from PFAN. The Private Finance Advisory Network has supported project developers in developing countries to mobilize close to $3 billion of private financing into projects on energy access and climate change. And I'm excited to have Peter Story here, who is the global coordinator of the Private Finance Advisory Network, which is also co-hosted by UNIDO. Peter, you have seen the beautiful companies here, right? When would they come to PFAN? And how can we ensure that more of these companies, they're able to reach financial closure?
Thanks, Alois. Well, I was listening to the previous session, and particularly just picking up on the point I think Chris made. Risk averse. It's not so much about the risk aversion of the institutions that we're working with, but perhaps more the question of being able to price the risk that we are asking the institutions and the investors to take. And the reality is that for these companies at this stage in their development, the investors do not have the information that they need to make a good price adjustment. And that leads to an unfair investment transaction. Unfair in the sense that it's too expensive for the project development and company owners, or it's too cheap for the investors to go in. The investor isn't getting the right return for them. So what we need is more information, and I think what we need are instruments that sort of help us buy the time.
Mike.
Instruments that help us buy the time to collect that information. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
More.
So what we need is more information that gives us the time that we need to collect that information and be able to price the risk. What we are working on with PFAN and UNIDO at the moment is an instrument that essentially buys that time and gives an investor the chance to put in money upfront and then to make a decision later down the track. And you convert the convertible into equity or grant according to a pricing decision. And I think this will help actually go into the sort of this very early stage valley of the investment gap that we have, where it's easy to raise your startup funding and it's easy to raise your mainstream funding at the end of the process, but in the middle, raise 2 to 7 million.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter. I'm also honored to have Kirsten Dunlop, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Climate Kick. Climate Kick is one of the biggest global accelerator of climate technology innovations, mainly in Europe and developed countries. They are also expanding into emerging economies. And Kirsten, may you tell us a bit about the experience of Climate Kick in accelerating companies in developed markets, but also what kind of support is required, especially after the acceleration, when you are done with your business and of accelerating the company and they're going to the market?
Thank you very much, Eloise. So a couple of reflections. We are an organization with a particular concern about the real world, real economy outcomes from anything that any of us are developing. So we used to be an organization that for years supported entrepreneurs to develop solutions and then encouraged and coached entrepreneurs to go out and get capital from the markets. We decided several years ago that that was simply not good enough, because when you look at what is happening, you see that we are still feeding a paradigm of innovation in service of the current economy, and the current economy will not help us transform this planet and our ways of living. So we've shifted it to focus much more on helping entrepreneurs think about how to achieve several things. First of all, assume that you need to get into real economy scaling and demand relationships as quickly as possible. Now, this means, yes, it's important to pick up venture capital, but it's really important to ground your business in places where you can make that solution have an effect. That's cities, that's regions, that's farming communities, that's landscapes, that's national scale transformations. So in a developed context in Europe, we partner with governments at a national level or at a regional level, and we work with a government. If I give you an example of, say, the government of Ireland, we are working with taking the entire Irish agricultural system to sustainable regenerative bioeconomy. That means working with individual entrepreneurs and with the government, and we are brokering a relationship between them to create a place-based portfolio. So in Ireland, where you have a whole set of challenges on peat, on dairy farming, on land cultivation, on soil degradation, and so on, what are the solutions that can quickly come through acceleration into a set of applications and implementations? And that means that it's possible to access demand-side finance through public procurement, through private procurement, through commercial deals, through project finance. So you're beginning to create a finance mix that is much more diversified. That then, where in our experience, builds a lot more confidence in investors, because they're suddenly looking at something which is inherently de-risked. Because you've got a business that's already in relationship with, say, a local community, with the industry, with government, and you're already looking at something that has growth potential in a real economy context. So that's absolutely essential. We've also now started to introduce investment fund partnerships. We have a fund, in fact, starting now called Just Transition Capital, which is 200 million, looking exactly at this late stage venture early growth for solutions that have a particular application into developed and developing contexts. And that's actually, thanks to UNIDO, it's very much part of the fact that we're seeing in our accelerators across Africa, finally, the real bi-directional value creation, i.e. solutions coming up in Africa in adaptation and resilience are significantly more sophisticated than solutions in Europe. So Europe becomes the market for African solutions, and we now start to create capital funds. And this is still traditional investing, but it's investing where Climate Kick is acting as an advisor to help that fund make choices for transformative change, not simply short-term extraction. And that is, it's an absolute rule of thumb. We're setting up an early stage fund, a very, very early stage seed and pre-seed. And then the last piece, I think, is to, and this is where I'm really going to speak as passionately as I can, the way we support entrepreneurs in the world generally is still presenting a hero's journey. It's you on your own, out there, making a pitch, winning the pitch, bringing in the money in. We cannot change the world if the business solutions that we have don't think of themselves as pieces of a bigger puzzle. And so one of the things we're really pushing to do is, as we bring through the Climate Launchpad, the Adaptation Accelerator, encourage entrepreneurs to start working out how to build their businesses together. Even if that feels odd, because it's counter to so much of the kind of competition logic. But that creates multi-sided business models that are way easier to pick up bigger order of capital on the demand and the supply side.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirsten, and thank you, Peter Story. we have reached the end of this session. Like I said, this is the time to know who is who. We actually didn't even scratch the subject that we wanted to discuss. There's so much more into this. But what I got from here, from this conversation, is that we need to focus on systems innovation. Innovation not only on the technology, but on the relationships, on the policy, on the financing, engagement in society. This is how we can change the financial model that we have as of now for us to be able to respond adequately and with speed and scale to the challenge of climate change and the opportunity for economic growth for the youth, for the jobs and the new industries to emerge. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure being your host. And I wish you a very successful COP engagement. And let's fight climate change together. And innovation and entrepreneurship are at the center of this. Thank you so much.